Hey, good morning, and welcome to another BAM blog breakdown where Brian Kaiser, Aaron Zambrano, and me, Mike Calderwood, break down expert business blogs so you can better understand and apply the information to your business and your life for real results. And who doesn't want real results? Before we get started, we urge you, right? That's that word urge. Get over to YouTube and subscribe to our channel there. This will do two things for you. It'll allow you to review this and other blogs that we've enjoyed BAM slamming in a cool, fun, energetic way, and it'll notify you each time a new episode comes out. So it'll keep you in the loop. You got to be in the loop, right? Get in the loop. YouTube's made it easy. Get over and click the button. That's it. Click a button that says subscribe. It's that easy. Do it now. Go, go, go. All right. I am your humble co-host, Mike Calder. I'm here with my BAM partners in crime, Brian Kaiser, the world's greatest connector, and Aaron Zambrano here to get his pump on. Brian, how are you doing today?
Dude, I am just living large, my friend. Living large. It was a great weekend. Had a lot of fun, and blessed and highly favored as always, and looking forward to another BAM Slam home run as we break down this blog.
Awesome, brother. I'm glad you're here with us. And Aaron, you're back for your second round. How you doing, brother?
Man, I'm excited. This is a fun thing. I'm really looking forward to today's episode. So it's going to be a great time.
Awesome. Well, listen, guys. James Arthur Ray. Thank you very much for the content. And wow, every
Good
time
stuff.
I am a slow learner, okay? And when I read most people's blogs, I got to go through a couple, 3 times, whatever, right? But James, it's like 3 is the minimum. I got to go through 3 times the minimum. And as I went through the first time, it was kind of interesting because I thought to myself with this very appropriately titled, "What are you willing to risk?" I started to think, what do we risk as dreamers, as dream chasers, as business builders, as people living with purpose and chasing a purpose? What do we risk? Well, one assessment is easy and one's a little bit harder, right? We can have a dream and just treat it kind of like a wish, right? And never really go after it and sit around in our comfort zone, in which case we risk ever achieving our dreams. Or we can get out of our comfort zone and take massive action and chase our dreams and go fulfill our purpose. And then there's a bunch of stuff that's at risk on the other end, and that's the harder part to measure. So when I was reading James' content, I went through, again, multiple times just to kind of grasp the big picture. This post is no different. It's deep, it's content-rich, and it pushes you to self-discovery, which ultimately challenges, for me, my thinking, my beliefs, and my perceptions. So in this post, James really takes you through a process, but not a simple set of bullet points or a couple catchy phrases. Instead, he takes you through a process and he challenges you. And all I can say is I challenge you too. I challenge you to do 3 things. Get over to the post and read it. Then go back with a notebook and read it again. And then when you're done with that, read it again. Because I can guarantee you as you go through this and you start to understand and grasp it, more and more and more is going to stand off the page and just kind of pop out for you as you read this. So get over there and do that. James is going to challenge you to define ultimate human performance for yourself. He's also going to challenge the status quo in this, okay? We have kind of a set of visions of what success or human performance looks like based on what media and what popular mainstream tells us, or maybe what our neighbors or our successful brother-in-law might tell us, right? But success, ultimate human performance, can be defined by you independently for yourself and what that looks like. So James is going to challenge the status quo. He's also going to provide you a great outline for making improvements in your journey to ultimate human performance, as well as point out some pitfalls and traps. So here's a question for you. Pitfalls and traps. An outline for improvements and challenge you to ultimate human performance. Well, why aren't you reading this blog? Get over there and read this blog. It's got everything for you. So, Brian, I had an aha moment in this blog, and it was to avoid letting outside sources like media control my definition of the ultimate human performance. However, there's a catch to that, right? If we're not going to listen to everybody else's definition, that means for me to perform at a high level, I have to define very clearly what ultimate human performance means to me. And I'm hoping as we go through this breakdown, each one of us will kind of let that out of the bag just a little bit. Brian, did you have I know you're a huge James Arthur Ray fan. What was your aha moment when you reviewed this post?
Well, like I've said when we broke down other blogs from James, I've studied James's work for years. I've used it with my athletes. I've used it with myself in developing myself further and further and further, and helping people. But really, when he went into, and you got to get over to jamesray.com, read the blog, but he goes into how the chemical reactions in the brain work when you are put into certain situations. And for an athlete, when you get into what he calls your flow here, okay, that's where you're kind of in your groove. When you see the running back and he's having a 1,000-yard game, it's like he's in his flow. Okay, he's got the ultimate focus. His performance is spot on. He's not making mistakes. He's reading every move. He's doing those things. So as I read the blog, it took me back. And what it was for the aha was really, and some could say it's cool, but it caused me to see where I need to put myself in that mode more often, so that I can live within my ultimate human performance range. So I can live as I was designed to be living, loving, and mattering, because that's the kind of person I am. I'm always been a high performer. I've never thought of myself as anything different. I never see an obstacle or a mountain I can't climb. I'm always that guy to hey, Brian, can we go get this? We can go get it. Let's go. Throw on some shoes, get a shirt, pack a bag. Let's make it happen. But that's where my aha came is, hey, we have to put ourselves mentally into that, as James terms it, flow. You have to allow yourself to go there. And what are you willing to risk to get yourself in the flow? There you go. It's my aha.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's the end of the show, everybody, because that was good.
I was a little excited. Dan. It's one of those things. It's Monday, dude. It's Monday. Hey.
So Brian, you and I had a couple aha moments. That's really cool. Let's get into the Aaron Zambrano iFit Minute. Each of us as entrepreneurs are always looking to improve all different areas of our lives. And while this was meant to be a business blog in the beginning, we started to realize as we were building a relationship with Aaron that a lot of this stuff can apply to other areas of life, and he's taking these and spinning them for this iFit Minute. Aaron, why don't you give us your spin on this as it relates to health and wellness?
Absolutely. Well, it's so much easier to stay in our comfort zone, and this iFit Minute is really for those people who have tried over and over to exercise and to lose weight or see results and failed over and over again. It's also for those people who have maybe even been out of shape their entire life. So, when I was reading this, I guess you can say the aha moment for me is there was a quote that he said, "Are you going to die?" That's not really the question. You definitely are going to die, but the answer was really, or the question was really, did you truly live? So it's not whether you're going to die, it's whether you're truly living. So this brought me back to a story that I had, a client that I had, and her name was Beverly. And Beverly was 53 years old. And she was overweight and pretty much fat her whole life. I mean, that's simply put. And she was known as Fat Beverly. And she was big in elementary school, middle school, high school, and entire adult life. And again, she's 53 years old. And so she came to me. She's like, I want to get fit and I want to get down to 150 pounds and whatnot. And honestly, I don't think she really thought she was going to get there. I think she was just signing up because I was young, I'm handsome, and I charmed her a little bit, to be honest with you.
Charmer, devil, you.
To make a long story short, she ended up getting down to 150 pounds, and she got to her goal weight. But really, her story was really after she lost the weight. What ended up happening is she went and joined all these outdoor clubs. She started mountain hiking, whitewater rafting in the Colorado River, going through the Grand Canyons, and she explored all these national parks. And at that point, that's when she actually finally started living. So it wasn't a question whether Beverly was going to die. It was, is she going to live? And she made that commitment to herself to go ahead and start living and change her life through health and fitness. And that really was the big thing for me. So that's the iFit Minute. And now we're just going to send it over to Brian and let Brian get right into his 3 keys.
Excellent, Aaron. That was a good story.
That was a good story.
Very inspiring. Very inspiring. So the Brian Kaiser 3 keys is let's just start with number 1. Tolerate and enjoy risk. James goes through in this blog, and he reminds us every time there's everybody has a rate in which they can tolerate risk. Okay, some people have a very high toleration rate for risk, and some people have a very low. And depending on your personality and a lot of different things that have happened to you in your life and just the way you're wired, then you're going to be able to do those things. But you have to be able to tolerate a certain amount of risk so that you can enjoy the journey. If you can't tolerate the risk, then there's not going to be any joy, because you're probably going to sit at home and kind of hide yourself under a rock. So you have to be able to tolerate and enjoy that risk, and enjoy the journey, enjoy the ups and the downs and the struggles and the triumphs and everything that comes along with taking a risk to make your life better or enjoy life more. Okay? The second of the 3 keys is chase your calling, not your career. James, if you had a bam slam for me, was James pointed out that a lot of people go and chase a career. Like they saw that you can make a lot of money if you go do this. So they go and they did all the things right. They went to school, they got degreed in this thing, they went in, they've worked 20 years, and they hated every minute of it, but oh my goodness, they made a lot of money, and they're miserable. They didn't chase their calling. They chased what someone told them was going to be a good career. So second key, chase your calling. Don't get stuck chasing after a career. And then the last of the 3 keys, and Aaron segmented into it perfectly with the story from Beverly, is I want you all to ask yourself, okay, this is key number 3, but I want you to ask yourself, am I truly living? Am I truly living? Because honestly, if we're not able to tolerate and enjoy a certain amount of risk, if we're chasing after a career and not something that we're passionate and actually called to go and do, then I'm going to have to challenge you and ask yourself at this moment, right now, today, am I truly living? Because if you're not, well, we got a lot of people that can help you, and we can actually make a personal and professional introduction to James. He can help you change that mindset, get around. Of course, we got 3 coaches here that are, expert in different niches, but we're willing to help you too. So 3 keys: tolerate and enjoy the risk, chase your calling, not your career. Ask yourself right now, am I truly living? So with that, you know what? I'm waiting, because this is going to be awesome as we go into the Mike Calderwood Coaching Advantage application, because applying this blog is going to be outstanding.
So yeah, Brian, great 3 keys, and great segue too into the application, because really for each of us, as we try to improve, right, personal development, business development, maybe it's our faith, maybe it's our wellness, maybe it's our relationships, whatever area it is, we can read all we want, but if the information sits on a shelf and we don't do anything with it, it's useless, right? So that's why we've added this application part. It's always been here, but that's why we have this application part for you guys, because without application, this information is useless. We've got to try to apply it so we can make change happen. So my very first application point is to sit down with your journal and your coach, if you have one, and get clear on what ultimate human performance means to you. However, let me just kind of give you a heads up on that, okay? You've got to get your mind clear before you even sit down with your journal and your coach, because you don't want to bring your own limitations to the table as you try to define ultimate human performance. Okay? I'm not saying that you're fully limitless. If you're 71 years old and you've always dreamed of being in the NBA, sorry, that window's closed. Okay? That window has closed. Okay? And I get that. That's okay. But there's also, we tend to place limits on ourselves, right? If maybe we've been in business 3-4 years and we're still stuck in the infant stages, and we're looking at it going, man, I'm still only making 50, 60 grand a year. Maybe you can't see yourself making 250,000. Maybe you can't see yourself making $500,000, but you can, right? So don't allow your internal beliefs and limitations be part of you defining ultimate human performance. Get with your coach, grab your journal, get a clear mindset, and let your coach help you with your limiting beliefs as you define ultimate human performance for you. Aaron, as a personal trainer, and you're always helping people perform at their best, right? Whatever it is for them, and each person's different, right? It might be somebody that's a bodybuilding model. It could be somebody who's a high-performance athlete, or it could be Beverly, right? In her 200-pound story, right? So you've got to help people, but are you drinking your own Kool-Aid? Do you have a personal definition of what ultimate human performance means for yourself?
Absolutely. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I have to live. I mean, I have to practice what I preach, right? I mean, if I didn't look the part, if I, was out of shape or just, smoking and doing drugs and eating out all the time and doing all that stuff, I would not be a good coach to follow. So I absolutely have to do that. And what I do is I have to look at what my talents are. I've got to look at what I'm really good at. And I could actually write an entire book on how awesome I am, but I'll save you the narcissistic. I'll save you the narcissistic and arrogant read.
Oh, that was awesome.
So I know that my purpose in life is to truly help people with every single bit of talent that I have, and without helping myself and using those talents that I normally use on other people, I have to turn around and use those on myself. So that's really what I do. And let's just say I have 20 talents. Again, I could be here all day naming all the talents, but let's just say I have 20 talents for the sake of simplicity. What I want to do is use all of those 20 talents and make sure that I'm using every single one of them to not only help my clients, but help myself, because it starts with me first.
Awesome. So you're talking about, when you talk about those talents, you're talking about the things that you do easiest, the things that are ingrained in you as God-given gifts, basically.
Absolutely. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Perfect, because that segues into number 2 so well. And Brian already kind of talked about it, and it's to know your calling. You've got to know your calling, right? So I look at that and I go, what does that mean? Do I make up a calling that like really sounds cool, And I say, no, you've got to know what you're good at, right? I work with people all the time. They're like, help me create a vision for my business. I'm like, I can't create that for you. That's not something you create. It's something that you have, right? I can't create a purpose for you. You've got to know your purpose. It's not something that you create. It's something that's given to you. It's something that's inbred in you. So I look and I go, know your calling. What are your God-given talents? What are the things that you do easiest? Let's say it's public speaking, and you have a desire to bring people to salvation. Okay, maybe your calling is to be a preacher or a reverend or something like that. Maybe you're really good with kids, and you're really good at seeing and understanding sports. So maybe a athletic coach, youth athletic coach. Maybe it's a mentor to youth athletes. There's a lot of different things, but you've got to know what your God-given gifts and talents are before you can really come up with your calling. And they go hand in hand, and when they can align, and you can align who it is that you are and who you're trying to be with what you do and how you serve the world, just like Brian said, now you're fulfilling your calling, not just chasing a career. And then my third application point, so number 1 was sit down with a journal and a coach, define ultimate human performance. Number 2 is know your calling. Explore that. Your coach can help you with that. Number 3, rise above the noise. Just because mainstream media, television, music, people and other outside sources try to program your thinking to a certain status quo doesn't mean you need to buy into that status quo. If Joe, we listen to music and it says, fast cars and big houses and things like that, if that's not your focus in life, don't make that your definition of success. Don't make that your definition of ultimate human performance just because it's somebody else's. Just because their materialism is their reality doesn't mean it has to be yours. So you've got to rise above the noise and choose your inputs wisely. We receive a lot of information all the time throughout the day. Radio, while we're driving, right? At home, TV, commercials. what teachers have to say when we go to a school. What there's just it's everywhere. It's all around us. It's our personal responsibility to choose what we accept as truth, and what we allow that and how we allow that information to play a role in our life success or ultimate human performance. Brian, you're extremely positive, upbeat person. When I'm around you, you're hardly ever down. I've never heard you say, I'm having an okay day. It's always, yeah, man, things are good, right? Now, I'm pretty sure it's not always that way every moment of every day. Maybe it's just me and I make you super positive. Probably not. Okay, just kidding. But the question is,
you nailed it. That was it right there.
The question is this: how do you stay positive and rise above the noise and perceptions that are all around us, and that often push us, and that are often pushed on us? And when you're not feeling so positive, what are steps that you take to improve in the moment?
Well, first I want to say it's not easy. And second, I want to go back to my aha moment, where I had that aha that I needed to go back from my years of being a competitive athlete, from rising above where people said I couldn't go, and actually meeting and achieving things that were supposedly impossible for me at my size, at my height, at this, at that, another thing. So I go back to that, and the one thing I learned from that and from all those situations is life is what I make out of it. It's what I choose to be. My coaches, my mentors, everyone I've ever had, I would get in that mood in the gym. And Aaron, you're in the gym all the time. You see this with people all the time. It's like, something doesn't quite work the way they want, and they're throwing weights and they're kicking over chairs, and it's throwing a fit, and it's like, okay, what did you really? You're not getting anything out of that. Well, instead of getting mad and getting down and getting everything else, my coaches would be more like, well, okay, you can choose to be mad about that, or you can do something about it. Like, you can actually get up off your butt and start doing more, and practicing and studying and doing those things that got you where you are. And you can choose to focus on those negatives and sit there and cry over it, or you can get up and choose to lift those around you. And, like I say, I wrote it in the notes here, I want to lift those around me by living my best self. I want to lift those around by living my best self is being happy, positive, upbeat, and the very best me I know how to be. And if it doesn't matter if death in the family, negative bank account, car broke down, had to walk 5 miles to get to wherever I'm going, I still need to show up the very best me I can be every single time. And that's how I overcome the noise and perceptions. Is just focusing on being the best me.
Awesome. So before we get into the final segment and what I learned from and close this out, I do want to say that the question that I asked Brian there applies to Brian. We don't want to pretend to know what's going on in your life. We don't want to pretend to know what things you might be going through, okay? And that's between you and your coach or whoever's helping you, okay? But the reality is, and this is what I'm getting at here, and if this isn't meant to beat anybody up, because again, I don't know your circumstances, but the reality is we can choose to be a victim to our circumstances, or we can choose to take our circumstances and use those as opportunity for growth. That's a choice in the moment, each day, regardless of what's happening to us. So with that, let's move on, man. This was a deep post, okay? It was packed with content, and it's packed with content for the listeners. And I'm not just saying this, it can help you immediately if you go to that blog post and you read it and you dig deep into it. It can help you immediately. You can get off the internet at the end of reading that blog post, and there's stuff that you can apply and ponder right now that will help you move forward.
And take your notebook. You'll need a notebook.
Yep, you'll need that notebook. I learned a lot from reading the blog. Aaron, what did I learn from James?
Well, I think you learned that society, in a sense, defines what risk is, and you have to decide what risk is. And what I ask myself is, if I'm fulfilling my purpose and my calling, am I really taking a risk in life? You see, society says that it's a risk to go follow my calling, but I don't think it is at all. I think it's what I'm supposed to do.
Awesome. Brian, what did I learn?
Don't accept society's answer to living a full and happy life. Seek your passion, find your calling, enjoy the risk of living your dream. In the end, as James points out, most pass from life with regrets of what could have been. Yet those who have found true happiness, monetary freedom, and life have done so by that one thing, as James calls it in this very deep and very powerful blog, living their magnificent obsession. So, Mike, if you learned anything, go live your magnificent obsession. Don't follow after anything else. Find your calling and go live.
Man, what are we risking? I love it. What a great blog post. This has been another Bam Slam home run breakdown where I, Mike Calder, along with co-host Brian Kaiser and Aaron Zambrano, break down expert business blogs so you can better understand and apply the information to your business and life for real results. Look forward to new editions of the BAM blog breakdown each and every Monday and Thursday at 11:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. Be sure, I urge you, be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Get over to the YouTube channel. Click the button. It's literally a single click, and you like us, and we like to be liked. We have that desperate need in our lives. Remember, all the links for today's show are in the description box below. We want to thank Evernote for making each one of these BAM blog breakdowns easier by providing a platform for us to stay organized and collaborate deliberately and effectively. If you like what you heard today, if you feel like you need more information about ultimate human performance or any of the blog posts that you listen to from us or BAM episodes, please reach out to Brian, Aaron, or myself. We can make a personal, professional introduction to the blog author, and they can help you. Or if you're interested in working with Brian, Aaron, or myself, if you are needing coaching, professional video work, if you're needing to refine your message, improve your sales, improve your fitness, or any of those types of things, give us a shout. We are here to serve, and if we can't personally serve you, we can introduce you to somebody who can. We are in the coaching world. We know a lot of people that can help you in many different ways. Before we leave this BAM Slam, we take off asking you, how can we help you? See you next time. We're out.
We're out.